Christians have long been wary of the mainstream media, and for good reason. The motivations behind the reporting and coverage of news events by these outlets are often shrouded in mystery, leaving many to wonder if the truth is being presented or if there's an ulterior motive at play. The reality is that the mainstream media has consistently demonstrated a bias against Christian values and principles, leading many to question their trustworthiness. One of the primary reasons Christians cannot trust the motivations of the mainstream media is the stark contrast between the values of the media and those of the Christian faith. The media often promote a secular, humanistic worldview that is fundamentally at odds with the teachings of the Bible. This is evident in the way that issues such as abortion, same-sex marriage, and religious freedom are reported on. For instance, the media often portrays Christians who hold traditional views on these issues as intolerant, bigoted, or backwards, rather than presenting their perspectives in a fair and balanced manner. Furthermore, the mainstream media has a history of selectively reporting on stories that are critical of Christianity, while ignoring or dampening those that reflect positively on the faith. This is seen in the way that the media covers stories of Christian persecution around the world. Despite the fact that Christians are the most persecuted religious group globally, the media often gives scant attention to these stories, instead focusing on issues that are more politically expedient. This selective reporting creates a skewed narrative that reinforces negative stereotypes about Christianity and perpetuates a climate of hostility towards Christians. Another reason Christians cannot trust the motivations of the mainstream media is the influence of ideological agendas on their reporting. Many media outlets are owned and operated by individuals and organizations with clear ideological leanings, which inevitably shapes the way that news is presented. For example, outlets such as CNN and MSNBC have been accused of having a liberal bias, while Fox News is often seen as having a conservative slant. This ideological bias is often reflected in the language and tone used in reporting, with certain words and phrases being used to elicit a particular response or to frame a story in a specific way. In addition, the mainstream media's reliance on secular experts to interpret and analyze Christian teachings and practices is another reason why Christians cannot trust their motivations. These experts often have little or no understanding of Christian theology or history, and their interpretations are frequently reductionist or inaccurate. This lack of expertise can lead to misinformation and misunderstanding, which can have serious consequences for the way that Christians are perceived and treated in society. The consequences of the mainstream media's biased reporting and ideological agendas can be severe. For instance, the media's portrayal of Christians as intolerant or bigoted can contribute to a climate of hostility and intolerance towards Christians, making it more difficult for them to express their beliefs and values in the public square. Moreover, the media's selective reporting and lack of expertise can perpetuate negative stereotypes and reinforce misconceptions about Christianity, leading to further marginalization and exclusion of Christians from public life. In conclusion, the mainstream media's motivations are often suspect, and Christians have every reason to be wary of their reporting and coverage of news events. The stark contrast between the values of the media and those of the Christian faith, the selective reporting and ideological agendas, the lack of expertise, and the consequences of biased reporting all contribute to an environment of distrust and skepticism. As such, Christians must be discerning and critical in the consumption of media, seeking out alternative sources of information and being mindful of the potential biases and agendas at play. By doing so, Christians can better navigate the complex and often hostile media landscape and work towards creating a more accurate and nuanced understanding of their faith and values.